All right, so welcome to our collaboration meeting. We are going to go over all of the expectations of our collaboration project. The project is called Conducting a Psychology Experiment, or Think Like a Psychologist. So the big idea of the project is that you are going to conduct an experiment. You are going to think like a psychologist, do the work of a psychologist, do all the planning and everything that a psychologist would do. Um, and so I walk you through each of the steps as you work in a group. I have specific due dates set up, but those are more of a guideline because it is a collaboration project and it will take the rest of the semester to get it done. There is a very big desire, very big belief that you have plenty of time, and procrastination kicks in. So I understand completely how that happens. I procrastinate everything all the time, which is why we are starting a little later than normal, because I've had things come up and I've procrastinated. So I put in due dates. There you'll see, like this first one here, complete by March 16th. Those are guidelines. I will not take off points if you don't have that done by the 16th. Those are just there to try to help keep you on target for getting done. So it's not a matter of have to have this turned in or that turned in or anything by that specific date. They're just guidelines. The project is due at the end of your semester, so whether you are in cohort A or cohort B. If you're in cohort A, we do have one person that is in cohort A, and she will be done on May 4th. So if you are if you get in a group with her, she will make sure that you understand that she'll be done by May 4th, and she has already agreed to make sure that she takes care of all of the aspects of her part before she is done. That way she's not leaving you guys behind to do all the work if you get in her group. But those of you in cohort B have until the 18th to get the project done. So you will be using Google Drive, specifically Google Docs, Google Sheets, Forms, anything like that. The topic that you pick must be related to psychology, but as you already know from Module 1, there isn't really anything that's not related to psychology. Everything you can make related to psychology. So you will follow these guidelines. They're very laid out step by step, and that's what we're going to go through. If you read everything, follow it step by step, you should not have a problem getting done or understanding. But at any time you are having problems or issues, or group members aren't responding, or you're having issues with the collaboration piece, I am always just an email away or a phone call away if you need immediate support. And I will email group members for you. I can email coaches and contact so we can make sure that things are taken care of. So you're not out there all alone. So to get started, the first piece is the learning portion of the assignment. And that will be done by going to this website. And so each of you will go to this website in your group, and you will go through the module here on research methods. And so you're going to learn about psychology experimenting and the methods of conducting an experiment. So make sure you click on anything that is underlined to move to the next piece. And then also, if you click on underlines, you will see that it pops up vocab. So it helps you to define things. It helps you to work through all the problems. So make sure you click on all the tabs. Make sure you click all across. And then once you get completely done, there will be, or even as you work through it, there's these questions to help you to make sure you understand what you are learning. So that is there for you. You'll work through those individually, but then as a group, you'll come back to your project page, and you will just fill out this left side. And all that is a definition of each of those words. So you will write a one-sentence definition of question in regards to psychology testing, procedures in regards to psychology testing. So I want to make sure that you understand what each of those steps are in the, oh, we don't want that to happen. in the psychology experimenting process. So there is ethics there on the back, so don't, or the next page, so don't miss that one. When you are done with your experiment, you'll come back to this side and you'll tell me each piece of your experiment that is the question, and the piece of your experiment that was procedure, showing that you step by step followed each piece of your experiment within the guidelines. So then the other piece of conducting a psychology experiment is the idea of understanding your obligations as an experimenter. So you are possibly going to be working with other people. You're possibly going to be having other people come complete surveys for you, or monitoring behavior, or anything like that. So it's very important that you understand your ethics that are involved with working with other people. I have had times where, like the worst case scenario, a student in my face-to-face psychology class was doing an experiment on shopping. And as she was interviewing all of her people, all of her participants on why they shop, and you know, what they do and what they like, it's just all sorts of things and the feelings that come around with shopping. One student came out. He wasn't publicly out, but he came out to her and you know, talked about how it kind of fit his, you know, the stereotype of being gay. And unfortunately, he was not publicly out. And so while we were talking about our experiments, she told everybody. And it became this big, huge thing that she lost a friend over it. And so that's something I never, ever want to have happen, because it's very painful on all those sides. So you want to make sure that you never want to make anybody look stupid or foolish. Everything is kept private. Everything they tell you, they are trusting you with. And while it might seem very, or not very important, it might seem very trivial, to them it might not be. So you just want to make sure you never talk to anybody about the things that people are telling you. Their privacy is our number one. So you each will make a copy of this assignment and sign it by typing your name and sending it to me to show me that you understand the ethics, the obligations as an experimenter. And then every person that participates in your experiment also must fill out what's called an informed consent form. So this is them agreeing to participate in your experiment. And anybody who does a psychology experiment anywhere always has an informed consent form. There's always something that you sign that says, I agree, and that I know that I can step out at any time. I know what's happening. You know, just I agree to participate. And so anybody that participates in your experiment must sign one of these. Then the last piece is not required, but it is just there as a tool. It's called the experiment data sheet. And this is just to help you organize your experiment if you want it. It's just a tool. You do not have to do it. It's just there for you if you want to use it to organize yourself. You don't even have to turn it into me. It's just there for your group if you want to use it. So that is everything about learning. And like I said, I recommend that being completed by March 16th. Do you have any questions? Excellent. So the next section is the preparation. So this is where you prepare your experiment. You plan everything that you're going to do. And so the first thing you need to do is pick a topic. As we said before, it has to be something related to psychology, but everything can be related to psychology. So if you need it, there is a table here to help you to pinpoint what you're interested in, and then what possible testable questions can you ask about that topic. So if, for example, interested in music, I love music. So a question that I could test is, does music affect our moods? You know, does listening to certain types of music make us feel a certain way? And so that could be what our group decides to test. So once you have that figured out, it's very important to understand that when you're doing an experiment, you also come with a lot of your own perceptions about things, and you come with a lot of your own beliefs and biases. So you also need to complete, to prepare for your experiment, what is called the biases assignment. So each one of you individually will do this, and it's just making sure that you understand these are all the different things that could happen in your experiment if you allow them to. These are very human things that could get in the way of your experimenting. One is the common sense, believing that something is common sense and that somebody should just know that. Intuition, so we just think it, we just feel that it's that way. Or the idea of hindsight bias. Or being overconfident that you know more than you actually really do. Or self-fulfilling prophecy. So you truly believe that this is the way it is, and so you only look for things that believe that. And then finally, answering, making sure that you understand ethics and experimenting. So explain what they are. What do you believe is right or wrong? Show me that you understand the ethics. I don't want the bias to get in the way of that too. So finally then, you've picked your topic, you've prepared your question, excuse me, and you understand that your perceptions are there. The first thing that any psychologist needs to do is review work that has been done on their topic in the past. And so this is called a literature review. So psychologist, if a doctor of psychology is completing this project or completing an experiment, they would go out and find 30 plus different experiments that had already happened on their topic, and they would read through all of them, and then they would summarize them all into a literature review. I'm only asking you to find 5. So you're going to find 5 different articles, different work that has been done. You can use Google Scholar or EBSCOhost. EBSCOhost is provided through the AEA, so you can get your username and password from your coach or your teacher librarian at your school. And so all you need to do is find 5 articles. So going again with the question of music. So I would go out to EBSCOhost and I would look up research that has been done on the connection between our mood and music. And then I would see what other people have done and what findings they have found in those connections. So that is all you need to do, is you find those articles and you read them to help you understand your topic better. So that is all in for the preparation to complete your experiment. I recommend that should be done by March 30th to stay on target. Any questions? All right, so the fun part is actually conducting the experiment, actually going out there, finding people to do your experiment. You've done all this work planning for it and getting ready. Now it's time to actually do it. And so you make sure that anybody that participates will be filling out, signing that informed consent form. And then also it's really good to understand the idea of statistical significance. And so, for example, continuing with the music idea, if I was doing music and I only surveyed like 5 people, that's not going to give me a really good understanding of the true impact that music has on moods. If I surveyed 20 people, I would get a much better understanding. And so I'm getting a statistical significant amount of people to better understand my research. However, on the other hand, if I am observing a specific person for child development to see if they have reached all their milestones of a specific time, then that one person would be statistically significant because I'm only researching that one person. So it's all dependent on your topic. It's all dependent on your plan. So you want to make sure that you have a statistically significant amount of people. And I recommend to have all of your whole experiment done by April 20th. That will give you a few weeks then to get your analysis all wrote up and completed. So any questions about conducting your experiment? All right. So then the last piece, just to make sure we're clear, because this is sometimes confusing for people, is that you are writing an essay. So anybody, any doctor of psychology that completes an experiment, they have to write up an article that completely outlines their whole experiment. So this ends up being around 2 to 3 pages for you guys. An actual experiment usually ends up a whole lot more than 2 to 3 pages. But for you guys, you're only going to have 5 articles to review, and you're not going to be as extensive as most experiments are. So around 2 to 3 pages is what I expect for your analysis. And you will be writing the analysis with your group. So it'll be one Google Doc that you all write together. So you have to follow a specific order, and you have to follow specific headings in your analysis, in your essay. And this is what is known as APA formatting, or American Psychological Association. So they want every article that is written for psychology analysis to be written in the exact same format. And that is this format that's outlined there. So there will be a title page, and this does not count towards your 2 to 3 pages. You want your title page, which includes the title of your paper, the names in your group, the date, the class name, and then my name. And then on the next page, you will write out the heading introduction, and then you will type a couple paragraphs discussing how you picked your topic. So it's just talking us through your whole process. How did you pick the topic? What information did you already know about that topic? Why did you pick your topic? Just giving us a good idea of what you were thinking when you planned it. Then you would write the heading, research, question, and hypothesis, and then underneath that you would give us the actual research question that you are testing. What was that one question you decided to look in on? And then you have the heading, literature review, and in those next paragraphs you'll summarize the findings. So you'll summarize those 5 articles that you read. Tell me what you learned about them. Tell me how it helped you to plan your project. Then the next piece is called procedures. So this is going to feel a bit redundant. You're going to feel like you're repeating yourself a lot, because you're going to describe each piece of the experiment in detail by topic. So the first one is participants. So you're going to type participants, and you'll tell me who participated. Now remember, privacy is important. So you speak generally, but you speak in detail. So 5 boys, 6 girls, 3 Asians, 2 blacks, 2 whites, however it is that between ages of 16 and 18, or between, however it is you can describe them to paint a picture without actually telling me who they are. Same thing with setting. So where did the experiment happen? Describe the surroundings, because a lot of times the surroundings will actually impact what we find in the experiment. So if you're doing an experiment on music and the surroundings are very chaotic, there's a lot of loud noises going on anyways, that's going to tell me a lot about your findings then. Maybe people were not agitated by the music, maybe they were agitated by all the loud noises and things that were happening. So it's going to depend. So you want to make sure you in detail describe the setting. Same thing with plan. So you'll type plan, and then you'll type up the whole plan for the experiment from beginning to end. What were you planning to do? And then data collection. So this is, how did you collect the data? Was it a survey? If it's a survey, you put a picture of the survey, or you give the survey questions. If it was through observation, you talk about what you were observing, and what did you observe, or what were you looking for during your observation. And then data analysis. So this is how you analyze your data. What did you do to compile all of your data together? And then the results. So what did you find from the data? What did you learn from the data that was there? And then finally, what I like, the best part are the conclusions, because the conclusions are where you can talk about all the different things that went well, that went wrong, things that you would do differently. Because the best thing about psychology experiments, or best thing about experimenting in general, is that it doesn't matter if your plan completely bombs. You're still getting an A on the project because you did the project. The plan might have bombed completely. It might have not went at all what you wanted, but that's all you have to do is you type up in conclusions then that it totally bombed. I thought they were going to do this. I thought they were going to do that. They actually did this, and they did this, and they had no clue what I was talking about. And so you can talk about all those different things. And so you can fail horribly, but it doesn't affect it, because That's where you talk about those conclusions. This is where you can also talk about what would you recommend for further testing. I learned these things and I would really like to learn more about this or take it to this level next. So then the last piece then is the references. That's where you cite your sources using these APA guidelines. So if it's a website, an article, a book, you would follow those guidelines there. So I recommend all of that being completed by May 4th. For those of you, for the one student in cohort A, then they would be done. Those of you in cohort B would have time then to consider that a rough draft. And so you can share it with me. I can edit the document for you, make recommendations, suggestions, get those back to you, and then your final draft, you'll have time to make sure it is a stellar paper and done by May 18th. Here is the rubric that I will be using to grade your project. So you can see I am looking for content and development. Did you follow that outline? Did you put things in? Or was it kind of unclear? Same thing with, you know, organization and structure. Your analysis. So you, ooh, this one's backwards. I got to retype that one. So analysis, it's organized, it's logically, clearly presented. I need to fix that. Paper follows the format. And then, you know, specific, yes, I am going to look at grammar, punctuation, and spelling. Those are important pieces of an analysis of a document. So those are all the pieces of the collaboration project. It is a lot, but it is step by step. So as long as you follow each of the steps and go in order, don't skip around, and definitely don't procrastinate, you should have no problem getting it done. Any questions? All right, I am going to turn off the recording here.